down, I'm going to show you the equity graph. Here it is. There's the equity graph from the last 6 months, going back to the second week in June, when we started storing it. Before this, we were monitoring different cycles, and they're stored under different cycles. Here, there's the equity graph. Okay. All right, that's what the equity graph looks like. Let's have a look at some of the detail. And first of all, I'm going to give you the good news, and then I'm going to give you the bad news, because there is bad news, and that bad news must be kept in mind. Okay, let's have a look at some of the details. Total profit loss, $666,586. Okay, starting equity, I've drawn over it, but it's just below 100,000. It should be 100,000. Okay, $100,000 starting equity. Okay, let's have a look at some other details. I need to clear this. What's the win ratio? The win ratio is an important detail. I'm struggling with the whiteboard. Win ratio 39%. Okay. Profit factor 2, average win divided by average loss, 2.09. Profit factor 3, total wins divided by total losses, 1.34. How many trades are we talking about here? 13,920 trades. Okay? 7,864 long trades. 6,056 short trades. Okay. What's the total time period of this test? This is a real-time test, generated in real time, stepping through it. 6 months, 1 week, 3 days, 13 hours, 40 minutes. Okay? The average duration of a winning trade, there it is there, 16 minutes. Average duration of a losing trade, 6 minutes. Okay? Annualized percentage return. What is that? 284,000%. This is the good news. Remember, I'm still giving you the bad news. There is bad news coming. And so on. I could keep going, but actually I need to bring this whole session to an end. So I probably need to... let me show you the sentient wave trades. This is very important. Sentient wave trades, for those who understand sentient trading. Okay. Wave 1. Negative underlying trend. There it is. Actually, I'm not going to read it all out to you because it's a bit boring. But there it is. Okay? And you can see why we trade wave 4 with a negative underlying trend. We made a $63,000 profit out of it. Okay? And you can see why we trade wave 1 with a negative underlying trend. We made a $91,000 profit out of it. Okay? There are all the figures. They're pretty big, as you can see. They're beginning to get there. Notice something interesting. Wave 3, there are only 713 trades, and it's not a very good wave. That's a sign of the euro to US dollar. I found the euro to US dollar generally at all time frames to be very poor. Wave 3 positive underlying trend. It's just an observation. Okay, so those are the those stats, and I could show you a whole lot more. Why don't we make this information available? We are going to. We are compiling this information not only for this cycle, the hour-long cycle, but for many, many other cycles, and we're going to make this information available because this information defines the character of the market of the euro to US dollar 1 hour cycle. Okay. There it all is, and there's a huge amount of information there. So there it is. Okay. Let me answer some questions. I've been avoiding questions for a while. Will I be explaining how to automatically dismiss the trading dialogues? Yes, I'm going to get to that in a moment. One of the problems with theoretical trades is they do not include the slippage inherent in the live trades with stop orders. And have you addressed this problem? Yes. And I'm going to give you that. I'm going to talk about that now because that's the bad news. Is the system fully committing the equity with each trade? Or does it stage and hold reserve as a trader may do? Okay, MJS, the system works on the basis of committing, of risking 0.2% of the total equity at any one time. It risks 0.2% of the total equity on each and every trade. the risk is calculated as entry price down to stop loss level, which is your theoretical risk, of course. Okay. And so now let me give you the bad news. And the bad news, we also need to look at the trading report. Why, when people say to us, can I have the settings for the live analysis system, do we say, well, yes, you can, but don't bother? Because the system does not take, the hypothetical trading system, it does not take into account slippage and time delay and the spread between the bid and the ask price and things like that. In fact, it does take into consideration the spread between the bid and the ask price because it adjusts the orders for the spread, but that's a small subtlety. What I'd like to point out to you is that there have been 13,000. I'm going to try and write it here. My writing's not very good with my mouth. 13,920 trades. Okay, we've made a total profit of I shouldn't write it because the writing's so bad. $666,586. Average contract size of these trades is about 7 or 70, depending whether you're talking micro or mini lots or things like that. But it's a figure of about 7. Okay. Well, let's stick with 70 because 70 is the actual number that's plotted on the chart, and each one of those contracts is worth 10 cents. Okay. So I'm not going to do all the mathematics here, but if you do the mathematics, you work out that this extraordinary result has been achieved on the basis of making only about 68 American cents per contract per trade. Okay. And what is the spread between the bid and the ask? It is about, it depends on your broker, but using MetaTrader 4, MT4, generally, it's about 70 cents. So your entire profit would have been eradicated using using this system purely on the basis of the fact of the slippage and slippage and time delay in placing your orders and all that kind of thing. That is why, this is what we call the bad news, that is why we say to people, don't try and trade the live analysis system because you can't trade it. You'll be wiped out completely by slippage. Okay, let's be realistic. However, what is the live analysis system? The live analysis system is a proof of concept. Okay, and let's do a few more mathematics. The live analysis system is trading the 60-minute cycle. Okay, according to Hurst's cyclic principles, you have the principle of proportionality, which tells us that the longer the wavelength, the bigger the amplitude of movement. Okay, so the 60-minute cycle will move with an amplitude like that, and the 5-hour cycle, which is 5 times longer than that, will move with an amplitude which is proportional, which is about 5 times as big. So if you use the same process, trading the 5-hour cycle, then what happens? Well, what happens is that your spread between your bid and your ask remains the same, still 7 points. Okay, but the profit that you can take out of each of the cycle movements is proportionally larger. Probably not 5 times as large, but it is much larger. And so this chart, the live analysis system, provides us with a proof of concept. It shows us that Hurst's cyclic principles are alive and well, and the markets are beating with a heartbeat of 60 minutes, which is beautifully regular and fantastic. And using Hurst cyclic principles, if we could trade the 1-hour cycle without any slippage or anything like that, if we could reduce our slippage all the way down to 10 cents per contract instead of 70 cents per contract, we could do this profitably. What of course it does mean is that trading the longer cycles, although it might not be directly proportional, I don't think you will make 5 times as much money trading the 5-hour cycle. I don't think you will. But you will make perhaps 3 times as much money trading the 5-hour cycle. And and your slippage in terms of the spread is going to remain fundamentally the same. Okay. In terms of time delays and so on, there are some subtleties where you are going to pay more penalties on the 5-hour cycle. But this is for us a proof of concept. So I've given you the good news. I've, I hope, entertained you with the story of behind the scenes, the live analysis system. I've shown you how it works. I've demonstrated to you how it is a proof of concept. I have given you the bad news as well, which is that this all looks very good on a hypothetical basis, but you cannot do it for real. Please don't try and just on the 1-hour cycle. Of course, try and do it on the longer cycles. Now, I'm wrapping up, as I think you can tell. Today's Trader Chat has gone on much longer than usual. But as a final thing that I would like to point out, we had a question from somebody. Who was it? Andy. How to automatically dismiss the trading dialogues? Okay. That's a really interesting question, and it's something that we have been working with for a very long time, and I'm not going to speak too much about it at the moment. Here's the status. At the moment, Sentient Trader is software which provides trading recommendations. Legally, there are huge implications with that. If we make Sentient Trader fully, totally automatic, and there are no trading dialogues, in other words, you have to, as the user, click on the OK button, then we are entering a legal minefield. The good news is that we are working on it, and we have developed a really interesting and very exciting auto trading functionality, which we will be launching and releasing soon, I think I can say. We're still sorting out a lot of the legal implications surrounding it and all kinds of other things. But we have what we call a gateway to enabling Sentient Trader to perform automatic trading. As exciting as it might be watching the live analysis system, I've got to say, for the record, I do not recommend automatic trading. Okay, Sentient Trader is software which provides trading recommendations which should be processed by you. Okay, you have the advanced brain, you have the advanced human brain, and we want to remind you that all trading decisions, although they might be generated automatically by Sentient Trading software, you should be looking at them and saying, yes, I want to go long, and yes, I want to take that number of contracts. Yes, I think the analysis is correct. I'm going to do it. I'm going to say, okay. You're a really important link in the whole process. We say regularly that there are, in fact, two Sentient Traders. There is the software, Sentient Trader, and there is you, who is the person operating Sentient Trader, and it really is true. You need to watch it and do that. That way, we're not responsible for the fact that a decimal place was out of place in a data tick that came through and threw the system off, or anything like that. Okay, I hope that answers those questions. I'll be very happy to answer any more questions that you have. I think I might have missed some. I'll be going back through them now in a moment.